So my name is Dr. Joey Gariziak. I'm the Director and Associate Professor of Esports at Shenandoah University.
My name is Nikita Bear. I'm an MBA student here at Shenandoah University. I'm the Graduate Assistant of Esports underneath this guy.
My name is Sean Kelly. I am a senior esport management major here at the university.
I guess I morphed from a full professor of sport management into this role when we started our competitive program 4 years ago. We obviously needed a director at the time, and I was kind of the person that was spearheading the esports initiative on campus. And my university president kind of bestowed the honor upon me and just said, hey, your official title now is Director and Professor of Esports instead of just Professor of Sport Management. So that's how I found myself in this position. Just kind of helped grow the program and was told, now you're doing what you're doing. Yeah, I mean, personally, I got into esports, I guess you can call it esports, a long time ago back when I was in college. This was back in the early 2000s with the best Halo game out there. That's Halo CE. Nothing 2 or 3 or anything else after that. The original with the OP pistol. So that's when I really started on the competitive side. That's traveling around to like local regional tournaments. Nothing major because there really wasn't much that was major at the time. And that was really what fueled me into everything else. Studying sport management along the way, started getting into video game research to go along with sport management. So I combined video games with sport management and we get esports out of it. So I've been competing for a long time, been studying it for a while, and then started the program 4 years ago when I got the title of director given to me. Yes, definitely part of the start, and it's really cool to be part of something new like that where you don't really have a roadmap. So we are one of the first esports programs in the country, and we have the most offerings of any academic programs around the world with our number of concentration, certificates, majors, minors, as well as at the graduate level, an MBA concentration and an MBA certificate, which is actually what Nikita is in. So we do offer a lot of academic programs, a number of esports classes. Most of it's rooted in experiential learning, but I've been around from the beginning. I wrote the curriculum, wrote the roadmap for it, got it all approved through the curriculum committee. Had a lot of help along the way from somebody that we hired as a full-time instructor of esports as well. So it's really been a two-man show writing that curriculum, and we've hired a lot of adjuncts along the way to help us teach it. Beyond gaming is something that we take very seriously around here because we want people to experience what esports can be beyond just playing video games and competing in esports. So for us, it's teaching them a lot of the skills that can apply to the esports industry, but also across different industries, and just in general, help make them better people. Things like communication, adaptability, teamwork, how to win, how to lose, and then learning all those skills that are part of the industry as well. So esports and gaming is great, but there's so many other things that can be learned outside of that, and that's what we mean by going beyond gaming. But I'll throw it to a student, Nikita, to talk about what it means to him.
Yeah, I think the 3 pillars that SU offers in the form of competition, academics, and professional development really hit it. In the professional development side, some of the professors are professionals in the space. And from the club side and the student engagement side, there's a professional development club called EXP that really puts forward a lot of these opportunities and internships for people to get involved and start interacting with these people in the space.
For my take, I take a very literal take to it. It's a lot of how the students move through our program. Most freshmen and sophomores really look forward to being in the space as a competitor, enjoying competing on teams, learning and gaining new friends, whether it be on a varsity team or just on a club team. And after that first 2 years, they really start to find their niche in the industry itself, whether that be broadcast or management or anything from even psychology or historians. We really find that students gain their confidence in the space and their real drive to move forward by the end of it.
Who knows? Yeah, I'm sure you get that answer a lot with this. It's a grind, and everybody does it a little differently. For me, in my role at Shenandoah, it's getting in early in the morning. By I say early, I mean like 9 o'clock in the morning. Going through emails, Discord messages, that's a big thing for us. But making sure we're up to date with what's going on around the program, how it fits into the larger university, things going on at the university, but also with our partnerships that we have outside the university, making sure we're getting ready for events that are going on. My biggest thing is talking to people. I'm actually not involved on the competitive side. We have an assistant director of esports, Zach Harrington, who runs all of our competitive teams. He does all the management for all the student coaches. He does all the registration. He makes sure that we are there ready to play when we're playing, checks on eligibility and those kind of things. So my job is that 30,000 foot overview of the entire program, making sure that we have what we need in the arena here for the broadcast production or the competitive side, making sure the academic program is where it needs to be. We're offering the classes and registering students as we need to. And then working on, as Bear mentioned, that professional development side, working on internships and experiences for our students that are external to the university is a big part of what I do. So that's kind of my goal on a daily basis. I don't know what's going on one day to the next. It's a lot of meetings, a lot of talking to people, overseeing a lot of the students, making sure they have what they need. Usually ends, I don't know if we have a competition, I'll stay 1 or 2 days a week until 9 or 10 o'clock in the evening. If not, I'll get out of here by about 4 or 5 o'clock after meetings throughout the day. So it really varies one day to the next, just like it does for every other director out there, trying to piece things together as best we can to offer the best experience we can for all of our students. Yeah, my biggest one is commitment. That's my biggest thing. For us, winning a national championship is great, but more importantly than that, we're developing productive people by the time they graduate from here. And so we want to instill in them those values that are going to be really things that are big parts of their lives by the time they graduate. And winning a national championship would be great. And we've been really close a couple of times to doing that. And we'll continue to recruit students that have a high ranking and are highly skilled. But even more so than that, what I look for is that commitment to being part of a program, to working as part of that program to better themselves. So obviously we have a code of conduct that students go through for no toxicity. We have an eligibility requirement with a certain GPA limit that students have to achieve. So I want them being great students in the classroom, great people outside the classroom that are committed to bettering themselves and working in the program. And then I want them also that committed to working on their teams to be the best they can on those teams.
It is a great opportunity to compete on a varsity roster here, but the main driving factor for me coming here for my MBA is the course offering and the experiences that I could gain here.
I would say alongside what Dr. Griziak said is just being a multifaceted individual alongside everything else. As much as it is important that they are skilled in the game that they play, they also need to be able to work with their team and work with faculty and staff and actually bring a lot to the program more so than just competing on a team.
Ooh, grind. That's a big thing is to grind, obviously, because the scholarships are going to go to those players that have that skill level and, again, are committed and take it seriously. So my biggest suggestion is to grind, but also reach out to schools. Don't wait for a school to reach out to you. Feel free to start reaching out to directors or coaches. Follow them on Twitter. Keep up with what's going on Twitter. Follow their school on Twitch to see what they have to offer. There's a lot of opportunity out there for those scholarships. But there's also scholarships that go beyond playing video games. There's a lot of schools that are offering scholarships for broadcast production or content creation. So make sure you do your homework as a student, know what competitive offerings they have, know what skill levels they tend to compete at or scrim at, but also see if there are scholarship opportunities outside of competing on teams with content creation, with coaching, with broadcast production, any of those things. So as a student, grind if that's the path you want to go down. If not, make sure you're doing your due diligence to see what else is out there for you. I think the thing I'm most excited about is continuing to elevate our broadcast production and our content that we're creating out of our esports program. The competitive teams are there, they're practicing hard, they're competing at a high level. So I'm looking forward to how we finish the season against some really stiff competition around the country. But on the other side of that is how we can take our broadcast production to that next phase. How many more students we can get involved in helping to run that broadcast production to get them in there to learn things. So continuing to find ways to innovate on that broadcast side, coming up with new content and streaming services that we want to get included in what we put out there is really what I'm excited about for this semester, and getting more students involved in the program here, but also at the national level in what NACE is starting to offer with the student rep program. So I think all those things are the things I'm excited about for this upcoming semester.
I mean, I think some of my first memories were playing video games back in the day, but I first started getting involved in esports in high school when I started hosting Super Smash Brothers Melee tournaments at a local card shop, and then moving that into getting involved at the collegiate level in undergrad. So I knew there was an interest pretty early on.
For me, I would have to say no, as much as video games has been a really big part of my life growing up within my family. It was never something that I thought was actually something you could study, something you could go into professionally. I knew you could play video games at a really high level, but I didn't think there was this level side of it where you can learn the business side, the production side, all that stuff.
As a part of the MBA program, there's the option to have a concentration in esports, where some of the offerings are esports consumerism, where you learn about the industry, and esports digital media, where you learn about how to make a media action plan and then follow through with it, which is really important with what we're talking about for this semester with rolling out new content and really maximizing that. So apart from the standard MBA courses, there's some of those that I've been taking.
And for me, I study both our esport management track and our business marketing track. So I learn anything from governance to contemporary issues to regular business classes like finance and macroeconomics and that kind of stuff. On top of that, kind of keeping the same theme, I do anything and everything in the broadcast room. I've learned a lot over the last couple of years trying to figure out that side of this industry. It's really where I want to be. So that's kind of my niche here. So my story is actually kind of interesting. My first year here, I was, of course, a student. I was an esport athlete. I competed on Overwatch. And I also was a D3 soccer athlete here. So I was balancing all three. And I found it pretty interesting. I actually enjoyed it, the way that you had to tackle school in the morning, usually soccer practice late afternoon, and then esport practice at night. What I found was just treat school and schoolwork almost like a 9 to 5, especially when you're living in the dorms. Whether you have a class at 11 or a class at 8, get up, do your homework for the day, of course, eat and rest. But with everything that you have going on at night, you can't spend the time just messing around during the day. You have to really stay focused or you'll get behind.
I think the structure that we have here at SU for the graduate program, where all the classes are at night, you only have 2 to 3 a week, and then pairing that with my current position where I work during the day. So similar to having like a 9 to 5 for school and work, and then fitting in the practices outside of that. With the current balance here, it's pretty good to just pick 2 nights, and then with the competition for my team being on the weekends, that fits out really well. I like to think of myself as just mini Doc G. So whenever he's in the calls all day, I maybe got to do hop in on those, do some event management, be down in the arena, turn on lights before it gets down here so we could be on a call of this quality. Yeah, I think a lot of my day-to-day follows his day-to-day, changes every day. Sometimes we got to be planning events a year in advance, and sometimes we're talking about the competition for next week. So
yeah, day-to-day is interesting in this industry because there really isn't a day-to-day. It depends on what's going on, who you're talking to, and anything else. So usually, it starts out like usual with class in the morning, but then it kind of varies depending on if we're doing a broadcast at night or if I have to do editing or if it's a test day, like all that kind of stuff. It usually the afternoon and night varies depending on whether we're broadcasting or I'm staying home and editing content, kind of stuff like that. For me, competing, it would probably have to be us starting a Valorant team and then going into the Final Four. We were kind of testing the waters and really looking to just put on a good show, but we were able to really make it really far away. So that was a lot of fun being a part of that team.
Yeah, I think my favorite season of competing in NACE had to be this last fall. The past 2 years, I've been coaching League of Legends specifically. So this is the first opportunity I had to play in like 3 years. And because I started playing from the first week I got here for my first year, I really helped to get to know some people, make some friends really early on. So the bonding that I had from playing is something I missed and got to have this past season. We recently just put together an analyst desk for an event that we held in the winter. So looking forward to incorporating that, sitting on that, joining in. I really see a lot of fun we could have with the broadcast this year for the NACE competitions.
My excitement is kind of bittersweet. This is my last semester here. I graduate in May. So I'm excited to see kind of this last push that I can do with the team here to make our content the best. But after that, that's kind of the last time I will be doing that.
We're really excited for what NACE is able to offer for opportunities that are on the competitive side, but also beyond that for students to be able to engage with people in a way that they haven't previously been able to do that in a meaningful way, doing something they love to do. And so we're excited for what esports is. We're excited what NACE does have to offer, and who knows where this scene is going, but we're all kind of along for the ride and we're in it for the right reasons. And that's to promote an educational experience that goes way beyond just playing video games. And a lot of schools have a lot of really good things going on. And I'm just excited personally to continue to see how all these programs continue to grow, where esports continues to go on that collegiate space, both academically and competitively, but also that professional development side of things. So I think the last thing for me is just that we're doing everything we can here at Shenandoah to adequately prepare all of our learners, both current and future, for what that future could be after graduation in and through esports. Really excited to be where we are, really excited to engage with students like these guys and everybody else we have in our program and students across the country, because I think esports is that next great educational opportunity and really does offer something beyond gaming.